Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Jen and Sharon. It's always fun for me to have coffee with you every Wednesday, Sharon, here on the Your Teen Facebook page. We're both editors with Your Teen, which means that we know everything about raising
Oh,
teen.
yes.
Everything.
We're perfect.
We're
so
perfect.
This is going to be a very short chat because we have never not taken our own advice that we've given to our teenagers.
Definitely never done that. But before we get started, I just want to give a little shout out to Sharon's mom, who sometimes watches us. If you're watching, hi, Mom. Thanks for watching. I think that's so sweet.
Yes. Mom lives, we're in Ohio, Jen and I. Your teen is mostly based in Ohio, and my mom is in New Jersey. So I've seen her very little over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But we see her on Wednesday, or she sees us.
That's right. This is how she shows up to see Sharon, which I think is delightful. She gets me into the bargain like an extra kid. Like she needed one more. I just think it's really sweet. My parents are the same as yours in many ways. And like I sing in an a cappella group as an adult, and it's very silly and fun, but we do occasionally have concerts. My parents come to every concert. Like just like they did in high school when I was in the a cappella group there, like there are certain things that are like, this is what you do when you're a parent. You show up for your kids' stuff. So
plus they're there to see your raw talent. I mean, it's not
totally.
It's true entertainment.
That's definitely the case. So that sort of segues into a little bit what we want to talk about today, which is sometimes when the roles get reversed and your kid maybe does something for you that you used to tell them not to do. Like, I'm just going to lay it out here. I'm going to stop pussyfooting around and tell you what happened. Last week, I had a very, very bad day. I showed up. I have another job that I go to that involves me going to an office a couple days a week. I showed up at that office without my glasses or my cell phone or a car. I had none of those things. I was effectively useless at my job, and I was panicked. I was like, what am I going to do here all day? I can't do a thing. I can't log onto my computer. I don't have a way to text anybody for help. So I actually had to ask my colleague to text one of my kids to say, hi, your mom is at work and she doesn't have her glasses or her phone. Could you bring them to her? And I was like, oh my God, this is like when I used to have to bring them their flute or their lunch or their assignment that they left on the kitchen table, and I felt about this big. And one of my children graciously showed up at my place of employment and brought me my things and didn't even rub it in. I was floored. There was none of that like, oh, see how it feels when you show up and you don't have your stuff.
She was just riding the high of your humiliation. She didn't need to rub it in to feel any better.
I think that is probably true, but I appreciate the grace with which she delivered my items and delivered me from my inability to do my work. But nothing can deliver you from the humiliation of when you become the child and your kid becomes the parent, and they catch you at doing something that you didn't take your own advice at. So, Sharon, I'm sure this has never happened to you.
Never, except a couple times in the last day or two. The last hour. No. So I think now all of my children have at some point or on multiple points told me that I'm a hypocrite, which I think is is one of those things that doesn't go in the baby book, but it happens one day. Mm-hmm. And they're just saying, you think that you're so smart and you know everything and you can tell me what to do, but you're not doing X, Y, or Z.
I need to hear what the X, Y, or Z is. Please, an example.
I was trying to remember, but I think the most recent one was about tone. We have been trying in our house lately to adopt a kind and gentle tone, to be patient with each other, and to not like get into that, irritated way. Yeah. So one of the children was complaining about something. We're trying to cut down on complaining too. And I said something about, it's fine if you don't like X, Y, or Z, but you don't have to use a tone about it, or you don't have to make it a complaint. You can just not like it. That's fine. And I was accused of using a tone in my in my response.
You were using a tone about the tone.
It's kind of like, did you ever find yourself in this situation, maybe when the kids were little, say, quiet down, or
stop yelling.
Stop yelling. Everybody stop yelling.
I'm not yelling. You're yelling. Yes, everybody's yelling.
We should stop and say, if you're watching and this has happened to you, just give us an emoji or a thumbs up, or tell us what happened to you while we're talking. We want to hear what's going on with you guys too.
Yeah, we don't want to feel like we're out here on Parent Island all by ourselves, being the only fools who, didn't take our own parenting advice or got caught doing the thing we told our kids not to do. I mean, it's possible that that's the case, but we have a strong feeling that is not.
You know where I hear about this from a lot of friends, and it's happened to me recently too, when your kid starts driving and suddenly your driving is up for major critique. Did this happen in your house?
Totally under the microscope. So why is it that when I'm driving, I have to stop 4 feet back from the car in front of me, but when you're driving, it's more like 2 feet?
Yeah. 10 and 2 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
You get that one?
Yeah.
What else? Oh, yesterday, I was driving my kid to work, and there's a long light on the way there. If you know where this is going.
I totally know where this is going.
And one of the children at home texted me, and I saw that the name pop up to the side. So I just had to see what was the text coming from home.
Right.
And I think it may have been a literal slap on the wrist. Like, that's not legal. You cannot look at your phone while you're driving. I was like, it was a long light. I'm not driving. I didn't text back.
Yep. Oh yeah. Been there, done that. Got the wrist slap, and deservedly so. Okay. I'm going to say it isn't a good idea. And certainly you're never more aware when you have to model good behavior than when you're doing something like driving. But a lot of these habits we have are kind of ingrained, and we do them reflexively. I still remember the time when I was driving a bunch of kids back from a camp. They were like 11, 12, 13 maybe. And I was kind of coming down a hill, and all of a sudden there's a cop at the bottom of the hill. Apparently a bad word came out of my mouth.
Oh.
I don't remember saying it, but later my kids nailed me on it. They're like, Mom, you know what you said in the car, right? I'm like, what I say? Like, it just happened. I didn't mean it, so yes, sometimes we're not perfect parents.
They love to catch that. The other day I said ticked, and my son said, "What did you just say?" I said ticked.
What I wanted to say.
So we have multiple parents in our house. I know another one that comes up a lot is like screens. And, we've talked about this before, the cell phones in the bedroom and all that. Yeah. Some of the grown-ups have good excuses for having the phone in the bedroom, but then we don't want our kids to do it.
Right.
We actually just had an article that was in our newsletter. If you don't subscribe to our newsletter, you should. It has good stuff in it. We'll put a link up. But also it was saying how important it is and how you can do this about taking the cell phone out of the bedroom. Maybe we talked about this recently. But if you're going to do it yourself, they're not dumb. They're going to say, but it's in your room, but you have it in your room. And some parents will say, well, so-and-so, your older sibling is out late and I need to be available. We don't have a landline. So there could be good reasons why you need to be in touch. But, I don't think anyone needs to reach our teenagers in an emergency, but.
No, not typically no. But I feel like I'm the worst, offender on that one. I don't even want to look at my phone at night. It just beckons me. I'll put it next to me on the bedside table, face down. But still, like, if you wear something like this and it's attached to your phone, it vibrates when you have a text or any kind of alert. And all of a sudden that part of your brain goes, oh, something's happening. I need to see what it is. So I've tried putting this somewhere else and then the phone away. I have the do not disturb on. And yet I'll still be scrolling through Twitter at 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, why did I just waste that perfectly good hour of my life when I could have been reading an excellent book? We know we're guilty of so many of the same things that we try to encourage our kids to do. I have another one, which is, like this is sort of like hygiene routine. Sometimes you have to remember when you had to critique your kids about did you brush your teeth? I love Sharon's.
I love that you're saying past that in the past tense, but go ahead.
Oh yeah.
My kids are younger than yours. But.
Well, Sharon has this great one that she uses, which is, did you brush your teeth yet, or do you still need to do that? Which gives them that graceful way to say, oh, maybe I do still need to do that. So my daughter, who is, the one who rescued me from my recent mishap at work, she works somewhere where she can occasionally get really nice skincare products to sample. And she brought one for me to try. And it's one of those nighttime serums. You're supposed to use it every night. And I said to her, this is great, but could you come into my room every night and remind me to use it? Because if you don't, I probably won't. I just need it. Same with sunscreen. There's so much about remembering sunscreen than I am. They'll put it on as they go out the door and give me that look maybe you want to hit that, So yeah, long list.
Speaking of health, have you ever been in the situation where you're a person who says to your kid, have you gotten outside at all yet today? Have you moved your body at all? I just, if you're sitting all day, that's just not, you're not going to feel your best. Yeah. And then you get to the end of the day and you realize, I was that person. And meanwhile, my kid went to work or whatever they were doing, and they were probably moving. And I'm the one who was sitting on my butt, not taking care of myself.
Right. Or that's why I feel grumpy, is because I didn't get outside to reset my nervous system, whatever. One nice thing is I have another daughter who enjoys going to spin class with me. And so sometimes I'll remind her that we need to schedule one, but a lot of times she'll remind me. She'll say,
oh, that's nice.
Go do that. And so there's some accountability that can happen. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but there are some definite silver linings for when your kids get to be a little bit older and you can hold each other accountable on some of the better habits that you're trying to reinforce with one another.
It can't become a pep talk. I like that, because I was thinking about this also because can't remember what I was discouraged about, but we were sitting at the dinner table and I'm like, I'm really just not sure I can do this thing.
I'm your pep talk person.
Well, I didn't even realize it was one of those things where I was probably just being negative and complaining too much. But I didn't realize that I needed a pep talk, but my kids responded like, oh, Mom, don't give up. You can do this thing. You can do it. And I was like, oh, this is so nice. Usually we're the ones telling our kids. And sometimes, this role reversal can be nice.
Yes, it can. And it can feel good. It feels like some validation, oh, maybe some things that we've modeled are coming around full circle. So maybe we'll leave it on that high note, that positive note. But we still want to hear about some of your parenting fails, because that makes us feel better. So later in the comments, maybe you didn't feel like you want to share it right now. We get that. But later in the comments, go on Facebook. You can share it to us and let us know what's happened to you in your life that made you realize that at some point you became the child and they became the adult.
Or just vent to us.
Yes, or vent. We always like that too.
We get it. All right. So we'll let everybody go. And I have to remember what I promised everyone. I think I promised a newsletter link.
Yes.
So we'll give that to you.
Yeah, you can have a lot more of us, more than you ever wanted. I know. We keep it light and fun, but there's always really good information in our newsletter too. So you're definitely going to want it. So,
all right.
See you next week, everybody.